Jack Malik, a street busker and a supermarket employee, is reprimanded by his boss for his beard at work, and he is threatened with being fired if he doesn't shave it immediately. However, Ellie Kane, Jack's manager, and best friend, who has always supported his music, brings the good news that they have the offer to perform at the prestigious Hotel Pierre Music Festival the next day. This makes Jack ecstatic, as he never imagined he would have the chance to perform at such a famous festival in his city. The following day, Jack performs with great enthusiasm at the music festival, realizing his dream. However, he finds himself on a smaller, less prominent stage away from the main one. Despite this, he puts on a memorable show. After the event, Ellie drives Jack home, and during the ride, Jack confides in her that he plans to give up singing. He feels that as an ordinary street busker, becoming a famous singer is impossible. Ellie is shocked by his decision and tries to convince him not to give up, believing that a miracle will happen for him someday. Annoyed, Jack asks Ellie to stop the car and continues his journey by bicycle. That night, a global blackout occurs, and Jack has an accident. He ends up hospitalized and loses 2 of his front teeth due to the accident. Ellie visits him at the hospital and gives him a special gift, a guitar to replace the one that was broken during the accident. Jack is now recovering at home, and Ellie takes him to meet their friends, who all bring gifts to support his recovery. During their gathering, Jack decides to play the guitar and sing a song. He performs Yesterday, and everyone is left in awe due to the deep meaning behind the lyrics. When Ellie asks how he could write such a good song, Jack is confused, thinking everyone would know it's a song by the Beatles. However, he is surprised to find that Ellie and their friends do not know the band when he mentions their names. Curious and perplexed, Jack checks online and realizes that there is no information about the Beatles anymore. In his confusion, Jack goes to Ellie's house in the pouring rain to confirm if she genuinely doesn't know about the Beatles. After verifying that the Beatles seem to have disappeared from collective memory, Jack comes up with an idea to sing and popularize all of the Beatles songs under his name. The next day, Jack goes to the school where Ellie teaches math to share the news that he has now created many great songs. Jack continues to practice and memorize all of the Beatles lyrics to prepare for his performances. Before one of his events, Jack's parents ask him to sing a song for them. However, he is interrupted by Zach, who starts playing a new song. Despite the interruption, Jack remains determined to pursue his passion. Jack perseveres, performing the Beatles songs at various events. However, one day, after singing at a cafe, he comes to a realization. Even if he sings all of the Beatles songs, he will still never achieve the same level of fame as the original band. He feels desperate and considers quitting singing altogether. However, Ellie brings the good news that a music producer named Gavin likes Jack's songs and offers to record them in his music studio, rekindling Jack's spirit. After finishing the recording, Jack distributes his albums for free to all visitors at the supermarket where he works. The story of the generous supermarket employee goes viral, attracting attention to Jack's talent. He is invited to a television program to perform, which leads to a surprising call from the famous singer Ed Sheeran, who praises Jack's song. Confused, Jack thinks it's one of his friends pulling a prank and hangs up on Ed Sheeran. Ellie, curious about the call, asks Jack who it was, and he casually mentions that it was Ed Sheeran. Ellie can't believe it. Later, when Jack returns home, his mother informs him that Ed Sheeran had been looking for him. Jack rushes to Ellie's house to share the news, but she declines to accompany him as his manager, as she has to continue teaching at the school. Jack is disappointed as Ellie had always supported him, but now that success is within reach, she seems to distance herself. Feeling there's no other choice, Jack asks his friend Rocky to replace Ellie as his manager for Ed Sheeran's concert in Moscow. At the concert, while performing the Beatles song Back in the USSR, Jack captivates the audience. Among them, there's a man who stands silently, deeply moved by Jack's performance. After the concert, at the backstage celebration, Ed Sheeran challenges Jack to an impromptu songwriting competition. If Jack wins, Ed Sheeran will acknowledge him as a greater songwriter. Jack composes a song, leaving Ed Sheeran speechless and impressed by his talent. After admitting defeat in the impromptu songwriting competition, Ed Sheeran acknowledges Jack's talent and offers him the opportunity to join Debra's management in Los Angeles. The next day, Jack and Rocky travel to Los Angeles to meet Debra. Initially, Jack is hesitant about becoming famous, fearing that someone might realize that the songs he's performing are the Beatles songs. However, Debra reassures him with cunning words, and Jack ultimately agrees to work with her. In the recording studio, Jack begins to record the Beatles songs. As his fame grows, he becomes a beloved singer around the world, with everyone adoring the songs he claims to be his own. However, he faces a challenge when he plans to sing Eleanor Rigby but struggles to remember the full lyrics. To find inspiration, Jack decides to visit Eleanor Rigby's grave in Liverpool, hoping it will help him recall the lyrics. While at the grave, Jack notices a woman secretly watching him from a distance. It seems like she knows something important. Back at the hotel, as Jack tries once again to sing Eleanor Rigby, he receives a call from the receptionist, informing him that someone wants to meet him in the lobby. To his surprise, it's Ellie who has come to congratulate him on his newfound fame as a famous singer. Jack and Ellie spend time together, going to restaurants and bars, and reminiscing about their shared past of traveling together. Their bond strengthens, but Ellie's true feelings remain hidden, as Jack seems oblivious to them. As Jack's fame grows, he becomes more successful and gains global recognition as a singer. However, deep down, he struggles with the guilt of claiming the Beatles songs as his own. Despite the allure of fame, he begins to realize that being a famous singer comes with a price. During his success, Jack continues to wonder about the mysterious woman he saw at Eleanor Rigby's grave. He starts digging into the mystery, discovering a hidden truth about the disappearance of the Beatles from the world's memory. With his conscience weighed down and the woman's revelation about the Beatles, Jack faces a moral dilemma. He must decide whether to continue living a lie to maintain his fame or reveal the truth about the origin of the songs he's performing. After the concert, two people approach Jack, a man who remained silent during the Moscow concert and a woman who saw him at Eleanor Rigby's grave. They reveal that they still remember the Beatles and thank Jack for singing their songs, which have been lost from the world. Instead of exposing him, they appreciate his efforts in keeping the Beatles' music alive. The woman gives Jack an address for someone who may be able to help him. Intrigued, Jack decides to follow up on the lead, hoping to find a solution to the complicated situation he's in. At the address, Jack meets someone who reveals the truth behind the mysterious disappearance of the Beatles from the world's memory. It turns out that the world experienced a reality-altering event, erasing the Beatles from everyone's recollection except for a few individuals, including Jack. With this revelation, Jack realizes that he has a unique responsibility to restore the Beatles' legacy to the world. However, doing so would mean sacrificing his fame and facing the consequences of his deception. As he contemplates the decision, he reaches a moment of clarity. He understands that true success and happiness lie in authenticity and being true to oneself and others. Jack decides to come clean about the origins of the songs he's been performing and to honor the Beatles' legacy instead of claiming it as his own. Having learned valuable lessons from his idol, Jack realizes what he needs to do. He calls Ed Sheeran and asks for a few minutes to perform at his concert. When it's his turn to perform, Jack reveals the truth to the audience. He confesses that all the songs he sang were creations of the Beatles, not his own, and he plans to upload the songs for free on the internet without profiting from them. On the stage screen, Ellie's face appears, surprising the audience. Jack had planned this moment to confess his love for Ellie publicly. He admits that he truly loves her. Meanwhile, Deborah, angry with Jack's revelations, goes after him. During the conversation, Gavin appears and tells Ellie that he will let her go if being with Jack makes her happy. The audience respects Jack's honesty and courage, and he finally confesses his feelings to Ellie on stage. As reporters chase Jack for explanations, he takes Ellie away from the chaos, and they run off together. They leave behind the fame and chaos of Jack's music career. After the incident, Jack and Ellie get married and start a happy life together with their children. Jack continues to perform at simple events, singing the Beatles songs. One afternoon, while enjoying their time together, Jack mentions feeling like a normal human being again, comparing himself to Harry Potter. Ellie, curious, asks who Harry Potter is. As the story ends, Jack and Ellie find contentment and joy in their lives, cherishing the love they share and the magic of the Beatles' music, which continues to bring joy to people around the world. The tale concludes with the message that happiness is found in authenticity, love, and the bonds we create with those we care about, rather than in fame or recognition.